Hello everyone. This lecture series is brought to you by Raj Malhotra's IAS Institute, Chandigarh. This series is for all those aspirants who are preparing for Punjab University's 5-year or 3-year law entrance exam. This is Ayush Gupta and I'm going to cover up the legal aptitude section for all of you. Now, before we begin with our today's lecture, there are certain things which I had missed in the last lecture in which we did the Union Executive. So, with respect to the powers of President that we had talked about, there are these three things which were missed, which are important with respect to the examination point of view. Number one was with respect to the President's executive powers, in which the President appoints the Attorney General of India. So, the Attorney General of India holds the office at the pleasure of the President. There is no fixed term for the Attorney General of India, who is the highest legal officer of the central government, and he holds his office till the President wants him in that very office. Second, with respect to the legislative powers of the President. Now, the President of India also has the power of veto with respect to state legislations. The governor of the state can reserve any bill for the President's assent which has been passed by the state legislature. So, the President has the power either to give his assent to that very bill, or he can return that very bill to the state legislature. However, if the state legislature returns that bill after passing it again to the President, unlike in case of central government, the President is not bound to give assent to that very bill unless and until that bill is not a money bill. In case it is a money bill, then again the President has to give his assent to that very bill. Besides this, it is up to the President to exercise pocket veto with respect to that or not. Whenever a bill is reserved for the President's assent by the governor, it is up to the President that he might just not act upon that very bill. He has the power neither to give assent to the bill nor to reject the very bill. And thirdly was with respect to the diplomatic powers of the President. The President, all international agreements are done in the name of the President. The President sends representatives to the other countries and he receives representatives of the heads of other countries as ambassadors or high commissioners. Now, we'll be moving on with today's lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to cover up the Parliament, the State Executive and the State Legislature. Let's begin with the Parliament. So, in India, we have adopted parliamentary system of government. Now, what is the difference between a parliamentary system of government and a presidential form of government? In democracies, these are the major two forms of government that are formed. So, in order to take an example of a presidential form of government, we can take the example of the United States of America. Now, what happens in a presidential form of government is that the executive head, which is the President, is directly elected by the people. However, in a parliamentary form of government, the entire country is divided into different constituencies. Every constituency elects its representative, which is the MP or Member of Parliament, and that representative goes to the Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha, a majority of those MPs will select the Prime Minister and will form the Union Executive. Now, why was a parliamentary system adopted in India and not a presidential system? The parliamentary system in India was borrowed from the Britishers. India was a diverse country. India is till today a diverse country, and it wasn't possible for one individual in power to represent this entire diversity. And therefore, through a parliamentary system, power was divided amongst all the people. And this is the very reason why we had adopted a parliamentary system. The another difference between a parliamentary and presidential system is, in a presidential system, the executive is completely independent of the legislature. There is a separate legislature and the executive is separate entirely from the legislature. Its election and has nothing to do with the legislature. However, in a parliamentary system, the legislature and the executive exist together in a manner that the executive head of the government are selected from the legislators. The legislators will form a group. The majority of those members will select the prime minister, the one member who is going to head that legislature group, the majority group, and who is going to be the part of the executive. So, the executive comes out from the legislature itself in a parliamentary form of government. Besides this, we have adopted a bicameral system. बाईकैमरलिज्म ये होता है जब पार्लियामेंट के दो हाउसेस हों, किसी भी लेजिस्लेचर के अंदर दो हाउस हो. दिस हैज आल्सो बीन बोरोड फ्रॉम द पार्लियामेंट्री सिस्टम ऑफ ब्रिटिशर्स. So in India, our parliament has two houses. Number one is the Lok Sabha, that is the House of People, also called as the lower house, and number two is the Rajya Sabha, also called as the Council of People or the upper house, Council of States or upper house. Besides this, the parliament has one more part, that is the president. So whenever a question comes and it is asked that what does parliament constitute? So it constitutes the Rajya Sabha, the Lok Sabha and the President of India. You should not forget that President is also a part of the Parliament. So the Parliament is the legislative organ of the government. All the laws are formed in the Parliament and needs to be passed by the Parliament. Therefore, the Parliament occupies a central position in the parliamentary form of government. डेमोक्रेसी का मंदिर कहा जाता है पार्लियामेंट को. सो अब हम बात करते हैं पार्लियामेंट के अपर हाउस के बारे में, दैट इज द राज्यसभा. राज्यसभा के मेंबर्स इंडिया के अंदर इनडायरेक्टली चुने जाते हैं एंड दीज मेंबर्स आर अपॉइंटेड, इलेक्टेड by the members of state legislatures. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, which means राज्य सभा कभी भी भंग नहीं करी जाएगी, राज्य सभा कभी भी डिसॉल्व नहीं होगी. Whereas लोकसभा डिसॉल्व करी जा सकती है. डिसॉल्व करने का मतलब सभी मेंबर्स को एक साथ बर्खास्त कर देना, सभी मेंबर्स को एक साथ रिलीव कर देना उनकी ड्यूटी से. Whereas this is not something that happens in Rajya Sabha. So, in Rajya Sabha, there are total 250 members. Out of these 250 members, 238 are elected indirectly by the state legislatures, whereas 12 members are nominated to the Rajya Sabha by the President of the country. Now, who are these 12 members? These 12 members are belonging to various other disciplines जिनके बारे में the President feels should be represented in the Rajya Sabha and the Rajya Sabha might benefit from that. For example, Sachin Tendulkar was one such nominated member in the Parliament, in the Rajya Sabha. Now, 1/3 members retire after every 2 years. A member who is elected to the Rajya Sabha has a total of 6 years term. अब 6 इयर्स का आपका टर्म है और 1/3 मेंबर आफ्टर एवरी 2 इयर्स रिटायर हो जाते हैं. सो हाउ इज दिस मेड पॉसिबल? इसका एक बड़ा सिंपल सा आंसर है. सबसे पहली राज्यसभा कॉन्स्टिट्यूट हुई 1952 में. सो 1952 में थ्रू अ प्रेसिडेंशियल ऑर्डर 3 लिस्ट बनाई गई ऑफ मेंबर्स की, जिसमें ये लिखा गया कि आफ्टर 2 years certain number of members will retire, then after 4 years the members in the second list will retire, and after 6 years the members in the third year will retire. So it was through presidential order of 1952 जहां पे members का टर्म छोटा कर दिया गया. However thereafter जब जब इलेक्शन होंगे उसी हिसाब से हर एक मेंबर का 6 years का टर्म बन जाएगा. Now what are the qualifications to be a member of Rajya Sabha? So number 1 qualification is that you should not be less than 30 years of age. Number 2 is that you should not be an indischarged insolvent. These are some of the other conditions which have been set by the parliament, besides the age limit of being 30 years and of the requirement that you should be a citizen of the country. Now, these other requirements are that you should not be an undischarged insolvent, you should not be a person of unsound mind, and you should not be convicted of any offense. अनडिस्चार्ज इंसॉल्वेंट होता है दिवालिया इंडिविजुअल, जिस इंडिविजुअल की जो अपनी डेट्स पूरी नहीं कर पाया है, अपनी डेट्स को रीपे नहीं कर पाया है. पर्सन ऑफ अनसाउंड माइंड इज पर्सन हु इज नॉट एबल, हु इज नॉट ऑफ सफिशिएंट मेंटल लेवल, हु हैज सम मेंटल डेफिशिएंसी. एंड thirdly, the person should not be convicted of any offense. Now, the vice president is the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Vice president preside करते हैं राज्य सभा के सभी सेशंस पे. एग्जामिनेशन में जनरली एक क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है कि स्पीकर कौन से हाउस को हेड करता है. सो इसका आंसर है लोकसभा, क्योंकि राज्यसभा में वाइस प्रेसिडेंट इज द वन हु प्रिसाइड्स ओवर द प्रोसीडिंग्स. नाउ what are the some of the special powers of Rajya Sabha? Number 1 is a resolution to remove the vice president can only originate in the Rajya Sabha. Second, Rajya Sabha has the power to create any all India services for the nation. So राज्य सभा के अंदर ऑल इंडिया सर्विसेज बनाई जा सकती हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल IAS IPS ये राज्यसभा के थ्रू बनाई गई हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल नेशनल जुडिशियल सर्विसेज के बारे में बात होती रहती है, वो भी अगर आएगी तो राज्यसभा के थ्रू ही आ सकती है. थर्डली, यदि किसी स्टेट लिस्ट की आइटम पे हमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को पावर देनी है लॉ बनाने की, सो दैट resolution also needs to be passed by the Rajya Sabha. As we have read in our first lecture that the 7th schedule divides the powers of the government between the state list, the central list and the concurrent list. In state list जो भी subjects हैं उन पर सिर्फ और सिर्फ states law बना सकती हैं. However, there might be conditions, situations might arise in which the states may want that central government should make law over that, and for that to happen Rajya Sabha has to give its approval to the center. Rajya Sabha has to pass a resolution giving the center the power to make laws on a state list. Moving forward, we have the House of People, which is also called as the Lok Sabha. Now the maximum strength of Lok Sabha is 550 members, out of which 530 members are elected from the states and 20 seats are reserved for the union territories. Earlier, two extra seats were provided for members of Anglo-Indian community, and it was the president who used to appoint those two individuals. However, with the Constitutional 104th Amendment, these seats have now been abolished. Now, who are members of Anglo-Indian community? Basically, Anglo-Indian community is that community which hails its lineage from Britishers. जिनकी फैमिली में जिनके पेरेंट्स या तो ब्रिटिशर्स रहे हों, दादा दादी ब्रिटिशर्स रहे हों, वह है एंग्लो इंडियन कम्युनिटी. So, the government, while bringing 104th Amendment Act, said that now the population of Anglo-Indians is not sufficient enough for them to be given a representation, and therefore this provision was struck down. Now, what are the qualifications for you to be a member of Lok Sabha? The first and the foremost is that you should be a citizen of the country. The second is that you should not be less than 25 years of age. So, over here, अब हम ये देखते हैं, यदि आपको प्रेसिडेंट बनना है, प्रेसिडेंट की एज की क्वालिफिकेशन है 35 years or more. The same is for the vice president. Whereas, in order to be a member of the Rajya Sabha, you should be 30 years of age or more. And in order to be a member of Lok Sabha, you need to be 25 years of age or more. Thirdly, you should be a registered voter in any parliamentary constituency. ये ज़रूरी नहीं है कि जिस constituency से आप इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं आप वहीं के वोटर हों. आप किसी भी parliamentary constituency के वोटर हो सकते हैं. Now, what is the tenure of member of a लोक सभा? जब भी लोक सभा कॉन्स्टिट्यूट होती है तो लोक सभा के इलेक्शन के बाद उसके मेंबर का टेन्योर होता है 5 years. Whereas in राज्य सभा अभी हमने देखा the tenure of an MP is 6 years. The life of Lok Sabha can be extended for about 1 year in case of a national emergency under Article 352. यदि देश में नेशनल इमरजेंसी लगा दी जाती है अंडर आर्टिकल 352 तो लोकसभा की लाइफ 1 साल के लिए बढ़ाई जा सकती है एट अ टाइम. यदि फिर भी ऐसा लगता है कि इलेक्शंस नहीं करवाए जा सकते और लोकसभा को फिर से बढ़ाना पड़ेगा तो लोकसभा फिर से बैठेगी एंड अगेन वोटिंग विल हैपन एंड इफ मेजॉरिटी सेज दैट यस द लोकसभा's हाउस should be extended, then only can it be extended for further more years. Now, what are the special powers of Lok Sabha? The money bills and the financial bills can only and only originate in the Lok Sabha. Money bills और financial bills जैसे कि मैंने आपको पहले बताया वो होते हैं जिसके द्वारा पार्लियामेंट जिसके द्वारा गवर्नमेंट परमिशन लेती है पार्लियामेंट की पैसा खर्चने के लिए. इसके अलावा दूसरे बिल्स होते हैं ऑर्डिनरी बिल्स जहां पे कानून के ऊपर फैसले लिए जाते हैं, कानून बनाए जाते हैं. सो मनी बिल्स एंड फाइनेंशियल बिल्स कैन ओनली ओरिजिनेट इन द लोक सभा एंड वंस द लोक सभा हैज पास दोस बिल्स दीज बिल्स गो टू द राज्य सभा फॉर इट्स अप्रूवल. नाउ राज्य सभा को उन बिल्स पे विद इन 14 days अपनी रिकमेंडेशन देनी है कि इन बिल्स में कोई अमेंडमेंट करी जा सकती है या नहीं करी जा सकती. यदि 14 days के अंदर अंदर राज्यसभा अपनी रिकमेंडेशंस के साथ वह बिल लोकसभा को वापस नहीं भेजती तो यह मान लिया जाएगा कि वो बिल ऑटोमेटिकली पास हो गया. हाउएवर, यदि राज्यसभा उस बिल को रिजेक्ट कर देती है तो उसका कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. राज्यसभा के पास वो बिल सिर्फ रिकमेंडेशंस के लिए जाता है और इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी अपॉन द लोकसभा टू एक्सेप्ट दोज recommendations. The Lok Sabha may accept those recommendations or may not accept those recommendations. Secondly, the Council of Ministers is only responsible to the Lok Sabha. Council of Ministers की जवाबदेही सिर्फ लोकसभा की तरफ होती है, which means the confidence motion or no confidence motion can only originate in Lok Sabha. कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन और नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन होता क्या है? हमने पिछले लेक्चर में जाना था कि प्रेसिडेंट प्राइम मिनिस्टर को अपॉइंट करते हैं एंड प्राइम मिनिस्टर को विद इन सर्टेन टाइम लोकसभा के अंदर अपनी मेजॉरिटी को प्रूव करना पड़ता है. जब कोई सरकार पहली बारी लेजिस्लेचर में अपनी मेजॉरिटी को प्रूव करती है तो उसे कहते हैं कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन. हाउएवर, जब ये ऑपोजिशन को लगता है कि कोई सरकार जो कि चल रही है उसके पास उसकी मेजॉरिटी खत्म हो गई है, तो मोशन लाया जाता है नो कॉन्फिडेंस मोशन. और यदि वह मोशन पास हो जाता है तो सरकार गिर जाती है, नई सरकार कॉन्स्टिट्यूट करनी पड़ती है. नाउ, लोकसभा कैन बी डिसॉल्व्ड बाय द प्रेसिडेंट. The Prime Minister can also recommend for the dissolution of the Lok Sabha before it completes a tenure of 5 years. Now, President कब अपनी discretion में लोकसभा को dissolve कर सकता है? The only situation in which a president can dissolve the Lok Sabha is when no party is able to form a government. जब काफ़ी कोशिशों के बाद भी कोई पार्टी complete majority नहीं ला पाती और गवर्नमेंट नहीं बना सकती, उस सिनेरियो के अंदर लोकसभा को डिसॉल्व किया जाता है और फ्रेश इलेक्शंस करवाए जाते हैं. एक रीसेंट एग्जांपल है इजराइल का. इजराइल में तकरीबन 4 बारी उनकी हाउस ऑफ पीपल को, जिसे कि केनेसेथ कहा जाता है, डिसॉल्व करा गया क्योंकि कोई गवर्नमेंट फुल टर्म के लिए अपनी सरकार नहीं चला पाई. नाउ, प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑल्सो हैज द पावर टू रेकमेंड द डिसोल्यूशन ऑफ द लोकसभा बिफोर इट कंप्लीट्स इट्स टर्म. श्री अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने, जिनकी सरकार थी प्राइम मिनिस्टर मनमोहन जी से पहले, अपनी सरकार को, लोकसभा को जल्दी डिसॉल्व करवा दिया था. बिकॉज the Prime Minister has the power. If the Prime Minister has the confidence and has the majority of members in his favor, then he can recommend the dissolution of Lok Sabha before it completes its term. Also, the Lok Sabha has the power to disapprove the national emergency imposed by the President. यदि national emergency लगा दी गई है एंड लोकसभा एक सेशन अपने एक रेजोल्यूशन के द्वारा उस नेशनल इमरजेंसी को डिसअप्रूव कर दे, तो लोकसभा डिसॉल्व हो जाती, तो नेशनल इमरजेंसी को वापस ले लिया जाता है. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, द ऑफिस ऑफ स्पीकर एंड डेप्यूटी स्पीकर. नाउ, स्पीकर इज द वन who presides over the session of the Lok Sabha. He conducts the entire proceedings of the Lok Sabha, and Deputy Speaker, as the name itself suggests, is his deputy. In the absence of Speaker, the Deputy Speaker conducts the proceedings of the House. Speaker of the Lok Sabha is elected from members amongst them only. So, by majority, जिस व्यक्ति को नॉमिनेट कर दिया जाता है स्पीकर के लिए, वह स्पीकर बना दिया जाता है. स्पीकर ऑफ द लोकसभा जनरली रूलिंग पार्टी के द्वारा ही होता है, बिकॉज रूलिंग पार्टी के पास ही मेजॉरिटी होती है. नाउ, स्पीकर ऑफ द हाउस हैज द सोल पावर इन केस ऑफ एनी डिस्प्यूट टू डिसाइड वेदर अ बिल इज अ मनी बिल और अ ऑर्डिनरी बिल. सो जनरली अ डिस्प्यूट में अराइज कि कोई बिल मनी बिल है या ऑर्डिनरी बिल है. सरकार की जनरली टेंडेंसी ये होती है कि बिल्स को एज मनी बिल पेश कर दिया जाता है, सो दैट राज्यसभा की अप्रूवल उस बिल के लिए ज़रूरी ना हो. सो अगर कभी इस बारे में कोई डिस्प्यूट रेज होता है, सो स्पीकर हैज़ द सोल अथॉरिटी final say whether a bill is a money bill or a normal ordinary bill. Fifthly, the Speaker has the power to disqualify any member who has jumped parties. Basically, under 10th schedule of the Constitution, in which disqualification of members who jump parties is been stated, the Speaker has been given the power to disqualify those members. If a member has defected from one party to other party, जिस पार्टी की टिकट पे आप जीत के आए हैं, यदि आप बीजेपी से कांग्रेस में चले जाएं या कांग्रेस से बीजेपी में आ जाएं आफ्टर गेटिंग इलेक्टेड, दिस इज नोन एज डिफेक्शन, जिसे कवर करता है 10th शेड्यूल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. सो एज पर द एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ which has been enumerated in the 10th schedule of the Constitution, Speaker has been given the power to decide whether a member should be disqualified or not. Apart from that, the President also has the power to disqualify any member. However, that power is exercised by the President under the Representative of People's Act. Representative of People's Act generally deal करता है फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शंस के द्वारा के बारे में, जहां पे ये इंश्योर किया जाता है कि एक इंडिविजुअल एक सही तरीके से एक सही प्रोसेस से इलेक्ट होता है. इफ एन इंडिविजुअल हैज फाउंड टू वायलेट दैट प्रोसीजर एंड दोज रिक्वायरमेंट्स, देन इट इज अ पावर ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट टू disqualify that very individual under Representative of People's Act. However, under 10th schedule, it is the power of the Speaker to disqualify an individual. So, now how can the Speaker or Deputy Speaker be removed from their post? For that, a resolution with majority needs to be passed in the Lok Sabha. That is all. Before such resolution has been brought, a 14-day notice needs to be given to the Speaker. The present Speaker of the Lok Sabha is Shri Om Birla ji, and the first Speaker of the Lok Sabha was G.V. Mavalankar. Moving ahead, we come to the office of the Governor, who is part of the State Executive, and he is also the head of the State Executive. The Governor has a similar position as that of the President of India, just that he heads the state government. Now, the Governor, just like the President, is the de jure head of the state government, whereas the de facto head is again the Chief Minister along with the Council of Ministers. De jure का मतलब भी कानून पे कागज पे तो आपका नाम लिखा हुआ है, whereas de facto मतलब एक्चुअल ग्राउंड पे कौन पावर में है. सो de jure और de facto का मतलब भी आप याद रख सकते हैं, because this may be important with respect to legal terms which are generally asked in the examination. Now, what are the qualifications of an individual to be the governor of a state? Number one, he should be the citizen of India. Number two, he should not be less than 35 years of an age. Number three, that he should not be a member of either parliament or state legislature. And number fourth, that he should not hold any office of profit under the government. Just like the qualifications we had discussed about the vice president or the president, these are some of the common qualifications which are required. Now, how is the governor appointed? The governor is appointed by the president at the advice of the Council of Ministers, Union Council of Ministers. The term of governor's office is generally 5 years. However, he serves at the pleasure of the president. President उन्हें 5 साल से पहले भी हटा सकते हैं और president उन्हें 5 साल के बाद तक भी रख सकते हैं. अभी recently there has been reshuffle in the gubernatorial posts. Many new governors have been appointed and many new governments and many existing governors have been transferred. So, from the examination point of view, it will be important for us to see as to who is the governor of Punjab, who is the administrator of Punjab, who is the administrator of Chandigarh, who is the governor of Haryana. So this is up to you. This is your task. You have to see as to who is the present recently appointed governor of Haryana. Also, one individual can be appointed as governor of 2 or more states. A governor can also be made to act as an administrator of a union territory. In case of union territories otherwise, lieutenant governors are appointed by the president. For example, lieutenant governors is appointed by for union territory of Delhi and for union territory of Puducherry, those union territories which are having legislatures, whereas in union territories which do not have legislatures, we have administrators. So governor is basically representative of the president at the center, at the state. It is the governor which sees and assesses the situation in the state and recommends whether or not a state emergency, whether or not presidential rule should be imposed in a state or not. When can a presidential rule be imposed in a state? Either when the governor says that the constitutional machinery has breakdown in the state, or when there is financial emergency in the state, when there is threat to financial credit of the state, which means the state is not able to fulfill its financial obligations. So it is within the power of the governor to recommend the imposition of president's rule in a state to the president. However, the president can assess the government's recommendation and can also make his independent decision with respect to that. Now, what are the powers of the government? The governor. The powers of the governor are also somewhat similar with respect to that of the president. The governor also exercises executive powers, legislative powers, financial powers, judicial powers. Besides this, there are certain discretionary powers also. Now, what are the executive powers of the governor? Like president, the executive actions of the state are done in the name of the governor. It is the governor who appoints the chief minister and who also appoints the council of ministers on recommendation of the chief minister. Besides this, the government appoints certain important functionaries in the state. The government appoints the Advocate General of the state. Now, who is Advocate General? Advocate General is the highest legal officer in the state, whereas we have read it earlier that Attorney General is the highest legal officer at the central level. Now, the Advocate General and also the Attorney General, both of these people hold ranks of the minister, and they can both sit in the proceedings of the House, the legislature, and also reply to questions if asked. The Advocate General holds office at the pleasure of the governor. Then we have the legislative powers. Now, the government addresses the first session of every legislature, just like the president also addresses the first session of every session session of the parliament, and also when the parliament is constituted. When the Lok Sabha is constituted after elections, the first address is given, a joint address is given by the president to the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In case of state, it is the governor who addresses the state assembly. With respect to financial powers, it is in the power of the governor to give prior assent has to be taken from the governor in order to present the money bills in the house. Coming to judicial powers. Now, just like the president, the governor also has the powers of pardon, commutation, reprieve, respite, remission with respect to state laws. However, speaking of the power of pardon, a governor cannot pardon a death sentence. It is only and only the president who can pardon a death sentence. Whereas the governor has all the other powers with respect to state law. अगर स्टेट लॉ के तहत किसी को आजीवन कारावास की सजा दी गई है, लाइफ इम्प्रिजनमेंट की सजा दी गई है, तो इट इज अप टू द गवर्नर. If a request is made to the governor, he can reduce it. The governor does this with the permission in consultation with the Council of Ministers. So does the president. अपने ये they ask whenever a request is made, the final decision consultation is being done with the Council of Ministers, and with respect to that consultation, a decision is taken. In discretionary powers, again, it is the power with respect to recommending the imposition of president's rule. Besides this, these was the main important powers which we needed to know with respect to the examination point of view. Otherwise, there are a number of powers that these constitutional heads of states exercise. Now, coming to the second most important office of state executive, which is that of the chief minister. Now, chief minister is the de facto head of the government at the state level. He is appointed by the governor. He is the leader of the majority party in the state. State assembly में हमारे पास होते हैं MLA. पूरी स्टेट को कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसीज में डिवाइड कर दिया जाता है. हर एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में से एक MLA इलेक्ट होके आता है. जो मेजॉरिटी पार्टी होती है स्टेट असेंबली की, विधानसभा की, उसका जो लीडर होगा, ही विल बी अपॉइंटेड एज द चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ द स्टेट. He holds an identical position with respect to the Prime Minister at the state level. The Council of Ministers in a state is appointed by the governor at the advice of the Chief Minister. So, it is again in the power of the Chief Minister in order to appoint the ministers and also to ask them to vacate their office. The Chief Minister, just like the President, just like the Prime Minister, divides the portfolios amongst the ministers. He can ask them to resign at any point in time from the ministerial position or get them dismissed by recommending it to the governor. By the resignation of the chief minister who is holding a majority, the entire executive government, the entire government has to resign in the state. In a similar manner, if the Prime Minister tenders his resignation, there is a possibility that the entire government has to tender his resignation, their resignation. Now, the governor again appoints the, as I told you earlier, the governor appoints the Advocate General and the members of various other important departments and commissions in the state, just like the State Public Service Commission, the State Election Commission, which conducts elections to panchayats and municipalities within the state at the advice of in consultation with the Chief Minister. The governor can also, the Chief Minister can recommend the dissolution of the State Assembly to the governor, and as per that, the State Assembly can be dissolved if the Chief Minister has complete majority. So, this was with respect to the Chief Minister. The Chief Minister also has the power to ask the governor in order to summon a house of the state legislature, the Vidhan Sabha, or to prorogue the session, that is to put an end to the session of the state Vidhan Sabha. Now, let's talk about the state legislature, the legislation component of the state at the state level. Now, any state can have either one house or two houses At the state level also there exists two houses in certain states. The legislating, the house of people where the MLAs are elected in the state is known as State Legislative Assembly, and if a state has the other house like Rajya Sabha, it is known as State Legislative Council. The State Legislative Council can be created at the recommendation of State Assembly. Now, if a State Assembly makes a recommendation to the center that we need a State Legislative Council also, then State Legislative Council can be constituted. However, the total number of members of the State Legislative Council cannot be less than 1/3 of the State Assembly, Legislative Assembly. Also, they cannot be less than 40 members in the State Legislative Council. So, in this very manner, those states जहाँ पे State Legislative Assembly के अंदर members ही सिर्फ 90 है या 70 है, तो उन केस के अंदर वहाँ पे State Legislative Council का वैसे भी गठन नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि मिनिमम चाहिए 40 members एंड 1/3 से ज़्यादा हो नहीं सकते. तो 1/3 से जब ज़्यादा नहीं हो सकते, तो जो स्टेट की लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली की स्ट्रेंथ ही 70 मेंबर्स हैं, तो उस स्टेट के अंदर 40 मेंबर्स की लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल आ ही नहीं सकती. सो जनरली लार्जर स्टेट्स के अंदर लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल्स हैं. The 6 states which presently has legislative councils is the state of Uttar Pradesh, the state of Bihar, the state of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Maharashtra and Karnataka. These states are having legislative assemblies. 1/3 member in these legislative assemblies are appointed by the governor. Rest are elected through various other procedures from municipalities, from panchayats and from universities as such. So this was with respect to state legislatures. You need to keep in mind as to which states are having 2 houses just like the center. And again, the council of ministers in state are only and only answerable to the legislative assembly and not legislative council. At the state level, if there is a defection, कोई एक इंडिविजुअल, एक पार्टी जिसकी टिकट पे वो आके जीता है, अगर दूसरी पार्टी में चला जाता है, तो it is in the power of the speaker of the legislative assembly of the state to decide whether that member should be disqualified as per schedule 10 of the constitution or not. However, if there has been the member has found to have violated provisions of Representative of People's Act, then the governor has the power to dismiss him. So this was with respect to our today's lecture. So this entire thing covers up our executive part, union executive part, and the legislature component of the state and the union. In our next lecture, we will pick up some other topic. Should you have any doubts with respect to this lecture or any other lecture, feel free to put a comment in the comment section. I will definitely revert back to you. Thank you and have a nice day.